But I tell you, none of this is possible without all you guys. Olin said it. It's really not about me. It's not about a dream I had 25 years ago. It's about everyone in this room. And so it is a blast to go through, kind of walk through life with everybody in this room. It really is. And I just want to tell you guys how much I appreciate you. I love you guys. I love walking through the headquarters and looking at the pictures. You can ask Mary Ann and the rest of them. They'll send me just standing in the hall looking at pictures. And when you think about Office Pride, it's really the culmination of the people, experiences, and stories that are in this room. That's what Office Pride is. And I couldn't be more thrilled to be a part of it with you. So you're the ones who protect the brand, grow the brand, take the brand to the markets, build it up, represent the brand in front of the customers and your employees. So you guys are doing an incredible job. So give yourself a round of applause. It's awesome. So I remember our, just if you can allow me to reflect a little bit, our first video. So our first video ever, it was such a big deal. In fact, actually, I remember our first coffee mug. I'll never forget when we had to order 144 coffee mugs to get our logo on there. And I'll never forget holding that first green Office Pride coffee mug in my hand, full of coffee, and thinking that I had arrived. I mean, it was like it was a real business now. I always wanted to have my own coffee mug with the Office Pride logo. Anyway, back to the video. The first video was we released it at the 10th anniversary retreat in Brown County, Indiana, Nashville, Indiana. And we had two. We had a franchise recruitment video, and we had another one that franchisees could use to help them get customers. And that was the 10th anniversary. And in fact, Dick Ollett was one of our keynote speakers at that retreat, and it even spoke at an earlier one in Brown County. Dick has been a mentor of mine almost the whole time. And it's so good to have Dick with us for the 25th anniversary. So then the 20th anniversary retreat was in Indianapolis. And some of you were there. You remember the Indianapolis Roof Ballroom, and that's where we honored Beverly by naming the Brand Ambassador Award in her honor in front of her parents, her sister, her family, and her friends. It was an amazing time. She asked if she could speak. And I'm thinking, well, if she's going to speak, this is going to be a tearjerker. So I asked all the previous winners of that award to join us on stage before Beverly spoke. And she got up there, and if you remember, it was not a tearjerker. She gave one of the biggest sales rallies I'd ever heard. She was inspiring people right to the end, saying, hey, make 30 calls, and if you get 30 no's, don't give up. The next one could be a yes. And that's what, if you guys remember, she just went on and on about how don't give up. And there were several franchisees that come up to me after that and said, you know what, I'm inspired now. I came to this retreat, I was in a rut, and now I'm ready to go back. One of those who thought they were about ready to give up ended up winning Franchise of the Year twice each of the following 2 years. So the next 2014 retreat actually was in Washington, D.C. That's right. And if you guys remember, it was the first time we really decided to dress up. We were having our banquet in the National Press room, and where so many U.S. presidents had spoke on that stage. Harry Truman had played a piano, and a lot of history there. And then we pulled out the $100 bill and said, who wants to say the core values? And Noah Jones come up and absolutely nailed it. You guys remember that? That was one of the most exciting memories. And it was a fun celebration. And I think it's set a new standard for the franchisees, because here, if a son of a franchisee can come up and recite those core values and how important they are, why can't the franchisees do it? And so ever since then, the core values, I think, has taken on even a bigger meaning. And then the year after, we had our franchise retreat in Huntsville and our banquet at NASA Space Center with the Saturn V rocket hanging over our head. That was pretty cool. And then, of course, last year, we were in Louisville, Kentucky at the Muhammad Ali Center. And they did a first-class job. A lot of fun, a lot of fun. And we had great speakers. Chris Middleton come up to me after that, and Rory Vaden, as you remember, was one of our speakers, and he said what he says every year. I don't think you're going to be able to beat this one. He always says it. I don't think there's any way you're going to be able to beat this retreat next year. It's just going to be impossible. And do you know that he came up to me today and said the same thing? Because look at where we are now. What do you think about this place? Has it been good? He came up, he said, hey, with this resort and Simon T. Bailey, Dr. Thrasher this morning, he said, there's no way we're going to be able to beat this next year. But it always happens, doesn't it? Year after year, the retreats get better, the milestones get better, the goals get bigger, and it's just a cool place to be. And when I think about it, only God could have engineered this outcome. It's an incredible thing. It's fun to be able to participate. So if you look back over the last 25 years, I believe it's been a good setup for the next 25. And when we think about the future, I want you to think about our shared future together. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about my dreams and visions, but it's the culmination of our dreams and visions. It's our shared future together. We have two BHAGs. We want Office Pride to be the most admired commercial cleaning brand in the world. Doesn't have to be the biggest, but we want to be the most admired. And we want our franchisees and employees to be the happiest people on the face of the earth. I really think that's possible. And we talk about growth. We have workshops that teach growth. We reward franchisees who grow. But we're not driven by growth. Just to be clear, we're driven by purpose. However, growth is a critical part of that purpose. And what I want to do is share with you why growth is good. Why growth is good for all of us. Growth is good for corporate, but it's also good for you, the franchisee. It's good if your franchise is growing, but even if your franchise is not growing, it's actually still good for you that the system is growing. And I want to share with you why that's true. As Office Pride itself grows, the value of our brand grows. And as the value of our brand grows, everyone who's a stakeholder in that benefits. Franchisees, vendors, employees, everyone benefits as Office Pride itself grows. So you get to share in that brand equity. In fact, when somebody signs a franchise agreement, from the first day they sign that agreement, they now are getting to participate in brand equity that Office Pride brings to their new business. Did you know that? That's brand value. So when you go to exit or retire or whatever, you have something that's more valuable to help take you where you want to go in the next part of your life. Also, it gives us more resources to leverage. So as we grow, we have more resources to invest in innovation and training, competitive edge, all those things. Resources to invest back into the community, into people, to make a difference in people's lives. Also, growth provides more relationships. Now, why is that important? I want to illustrate something to you. The value of growth. Because at any point in time, we could choose not grow. We're just going to focus on who we are and be good at what we do and not really and be intentional about growth. So I'm going to ask you, if you're in this room tonight and you are a part of Office Pride now, but you were not part of Office Pride 5 years ago, in other words, you've joined Office Pride since 2013, I'm going to ask you to stand and remain standing for a minute. If you've joined Office Pride in the last 5 years, please stand. So, 5 years ago, we could choose not to grow. We're going to be happy with the way we are. If we would have done that, I want you to look around the room, those of you who are sitting down, at the relationships you wouldn't have right now. Or even look at each other. Some of my best friends in this whole world are in this room. Some of them are standing up. So growth is good, provides more relationships. Thank you. Please be seated. Also, growth provides resources for continuous improvement. It fuels continuous improvement. And I'm not talking about continuous improvement as far as training and innovation and those things. I'm talking about continuous improvement as far as quality of life, life balance, stress reduction, happiness. Have you thought about that? As we grow, we're able to invest in layers of people who can handle so many of those things, who can make life easier, invest in resources and technology that can take so much off our plate. In other words, it actually makes sense to grow to improve our quality of life. There's a lot of advantages to growth. And then, growth helps us become financially stronger. Our responsibility is to be a steward of our business, and becoming financially strong is a part of that. I just completed a Leadership Institute up in Chicago, and the founder of that Leadership Institute, Henry Givray, he says this: financial performance protects what we have built and strengthens our ability to invest in the future. So when you think about protecting what you worked so hard to build and putting yourself in a position to invest in even a better future, then you want to focus on becoming financially stronger. And it's why Jerry has really taken the lead in trying to help franchisees better understand finances, the numbers, why that's important. That's critical for the future health of your franchise and really the entire organization. It's a very, very important thing. Jerry's relentless on that. You know he is. And it's for a reason. Because he cares. He cares about you and he cares about Office Pride and the rest of our team who has been involved in that follow-up. So we want to become financially stronger. So what I'd like to do is just take a few minutes and as thankful as I am about the past and as excited as I am about the future, I just want to take a few minutes to talk about what happens between the past and the future. What happens in that gap? And which is our current active journey in business and in life. So between our past and our future is this current active journey. And I want to submit to you, it's important to enjoy that journey along the way. To not be so destination focused that we don't enjoy the journey. I'm going to submit to you that a critical part of clarifying the future is actually understanding purpose on the journey. We live in a society that gets so caught up on where we're going that most people have a hard time enjoying the ride. We grew up that way. Think about taking the kids on vacation and you're halfway there. What do the kids start saying? Are we there yet? It's all about the destination and not about the journey. Some of you guys were excited to get here, but you think, oh, I just dread that 9-hour drive, or I dread going through the airport. If we can learn to train ourselves to enjoy the journey in business, life, everything gets better. Stress goes down, happiness goes up, quality of life is better. Michelle and I recently were going on a tour. There's a company called Talk, T-A-U-C-K, and they put together tour packages. And so we're going on a tour, and it was going to involve a cruise, and we're reading the booklet that they sent us to prepare. They teach you this booklet tells you what to bring and all these things, what to expect and so forth. And so we're reading that, and we get to this section that says, sometimes you must be willing to accept the unexpected. I thought, okay, this is interesting. And then it went on to say, hey, we may have a church tour, a historical church tour on our schedule at a certain place, but if the port happens to be closed, we will not be able to go on that tour. Or maybe there's a picket line or something unexpected happens that prevents us from doing what we plan to do. So they're preparing us for the possibility. And then this next statement they made, if you don't take away anything else all weekend, I'm going to ask you to really make note of this, even if it doesn't hit you right now. They say, please realize unexpected events happen, and we encourage you to not let those dampen your trip, but rather be a resource for fond memories of your unique trip experience. And I read that, and I'm thinking, wow, now that is some good advice for business and life. Think about it. Let the unexpected events that come our way, rather than ruin our business, ruin our trip, even ruin our life, determine in our own heart and our own mind, we're going to let this be a resource of fond memories of this unique life God's blessed me with here on earth, of this unique business that I'm building. Because things don't always go our way. We have employees quit. We'll have customers complain. We had a franchisee who had an employee parked out in front of the building, and when they got done cleaning it, instead of putting their car in reverse, they put it in drive and ran through the customer building. If we can train ourselves to let these unexpected events not ruin our business experience, but rather to choose that we're going to let this be a resource for fond memories of this unique business experience. Life can be that way too. Unexpected things are going to happen. And I want to encourage you to not be so destination focused that you can't enjoy the ride. My pastor, we call Pastor Q because we can't pronounce his last name. He said that God is actually focused on our journey. We think He's destination focused, and He does care about the destination, but He's focused on the journey. In other words, once we already know we're going to heaven, our focus really should be on living the most joyful, peaceful, representative life on this earth. Does that make sense? And how we do that and how we run and lead our business, it matters. God will, when we demonstrate peace and joy, God will use that to attract other people to Himself. If we live life with misery and we can't believe this happened and we're always complaining, then the people that know us don't want any part of the God we serve. Why would they? Right? If we're miserable all the time. So, just in closing, I want to encourage you to celebrate the past and be thankful for it. Clarify the future and be a good steward of achieving it. And as far as the journey goes, enjoy more and stress less. Enjoy more and stress less. And on on behalf of our corporate staff, we're willing to lead the way. We're willing to lead the way. It's going to be a great, great journey. Because we're more than a cleaning service. Thank you for being here. God bless you, and I love all of you guys. Thank you for being a part of this with me.